All right, hello, and welcome back to the Agents Unleashed podcast, the show that helps you to sort the signal from the noise in the fast-paced world of agentic AI. I'm your host, Thomas Maybrier, and I'm a producer at Valerie, one of the core contributors to Olas. On this week's show, we're going to take a look at the truthfulness of AI chatbots and how it's changing, the rise of new betting agents, and how Olas Predict intersects with both of these topics. Today's show is sponsored by Olas, the best way for anyone to own and monetize an AI agent. You can learn more about how to do that at olas.network. All right, we'll start this week's show with a headline that caught my eye. It's all about truth. Now, if you've used generative AIs like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, you'll know that LLMs don't always get the facts exactly right. The news here is that they're actually getting worse. According to a new audit by NewsGuard reported in Axios, AI chatbots are now spreading false information in 35% of their news-related answers. That's up from just 18% only 1 year ago. That's a significant jump, and it tells us something about how these systems are changing. One of the main reasons behind this spike in chatbot misinformation is that models are now much more connected to live web data. On paper, that sounds positive. You want your AI assistant to reference what's happening in real time, but in practice, it creates challenges. NewsGuard's audit, cited by Axios, links the surge in false news-related answers to updates that make chatbots more responsive and give them access to the web. All of this makes chatbots more likely to answer than to refuse. In fact, the audit found that refusal rates dropped sharply to near zero in some cases. So instead of declining when unsure, the bots deliver confident but often wrong answers. The errors can sometimes be absurd and obvious. For example, last week I ran a Google search that came up with an AI overview that made reference to a controversy on social media in the 1960s. I found this kind of amusing, so when I checked it out, what I realized was that it linked to a Facebook discussion about a controversy in the 1960s. As a human, I was able to suss out this subtle difference, but because the chatbot wanted to give me an answer, it took these two facts, a discussion on social media and an event in the 1960s, and conflated them in a confident-sounding answer for me. This polished tone is part of the problem. Misinformation is presented with confidence, and the errors are interwoven in with the facts. This makes the answers feel trustworthy, even when they're not. The erosion of trust is a big problem here. If we can't rely on AI to give us accurate answers, then the entire foundation of using these tools for research, decision-making, or even just to stay informed starts to look a little more unstable. We'll take a look at one way to approach this problem a little bit later in the show. Before we get there, though, let's shift to another industry where trust is essential: sports betting. Wired recently covered the rise of AI-powered betting agents. One of the most visible platforms here is Monster GPT, built by MonsterBet. They claim that their AI can deliver a 56 to 60% win rate when placing bets. For comparison, the average bettor averages at around 52%, so just better than chance. That might not sound like much, but in betting, a few percentage points can mean everything. It can mean the difference between a loss and a profit overall. The big problem here, though, is that the results are not independently verified. Monster GPT isn't alone in this space. With the rollout of Coinbase's Agent Kit, which allows AI agents to directly manage crypto wallets, more and more projects will be using this feature to not just recommend potential bets, but actually place them on-chain fully autonomously. There's also a DAO-run experiment called Sire that's combining decentralized government with agent-powered betting strategies. And together, these projects sketch out a vision where agents do more than just provide suggestions or information about potential bets a user could make. They actually take action and move real money. Important to note that none of these platforms have broken through to widespread adoption, and one of the reasons is the same as with relying on AI chatbots. It comes down to trust. People aren't willing to risk their money in systems that are opaque. If the claims aren't transparent and the incentives aren't aligned, it's the equivalent of walking into a casino, handing your wallet to a stranger who promises to bet on your behalf, but refuses to tell you their strategy. Whether it's misinformation in chatbot answers or unverified claims in AI-assisted betting, the theme is the same: a lack of transparency and no incentives aligned with the truth. Now, what can we do about this? Well, the answer leads us nicely to Olas Predict, which we've talked about on the show before. In Olas Predict, there's a fundamentally different approach. Instead of a single opaque system, it harnesses the wisdom and competition of many AI agents. Here's how it works. Olas Predict is a decentralized prediction market. Multiple agents participate, each making forecasts about real-world events. Importantly, they don't just make predictions, they actually place bets in the market, so they put their money where their mouth is. Different agents use different workflows, models, and data sources, and then stake on their answers. If they're right, they earn, and if they're wrong, they lose. This creates a powerful incentive structure where accuracy is rewarded and mistakes get punished. Since this is a competitive multi-agent system, the best performing agents rise to the top, and weaker ones will get filtered out. Because this happens on-chain, it's transparent. You can see which agents are consistently accurate, how much they've staked, and how much the market is converging towards the truth. These agents offer an additional layer of transparency due to their open source code, which is self-hosted via the application Perl. This is a radically different model than what we see with these chatbots or the betting AIs. Instead of credible seeming but potentially unreliable answers, you get verifiable incentive-aligned outcomes. So to wrap it up for this week, we learned that chatbots are becoming more responsive but potentially less accurate. Betting agents are becoming more ambitious, but not necessarily more trustworthy. And the common thread here is that without transparency, without incentives to reward truth, AI systems can't earn our trust. This is what Olas Predict demonstrates. When you align incentives with accuracy and build systems that are transparent and auditable, you get agents that don't just sound convincing, they actually deliver something closer to the truth. Put in a single sentence, I think you could say it this way. The future of AI shouldn't be about blind confidence, but about not needing to trust at all. Before we go today, here's some stories that you might have missed. First is actually Agents Unleashed episode 19, specifically the second segment where we take a look at Base's HTTP X402 standard. Next, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff says that AI agents now handle 30 to 50% of company work, including resolving 85% of service requests and qualifying sales leads 40% faster. The company has eliminated 4,000 positions, but they say that they're also shifting staff into sales and customer success roles. Elon Musk's xAI launched MacroHard, a project aimed at replicating Microsoft's software operations using AI agents. It coordinates Grok and other xAI tools to generate code, images, and enterprise software. Databricks has raised $1 billion at a valuation of over $100 billion to expand its AI products, including a new AgentBricks platform for building AI agents and the lake-based database for AI workflows. The company now reports a $4 billion revenue run rate, with AI products generating more than $1 billion annually. The Internet Engineering Task Force is drafting standards to let websites block AI bots while also allowing traditional search crawlers. Publishers support the move to protect traffic and revenue, but big tech firms like Google and OpenAI argue that search and AI are inseparable. The outcome here could redefine how AI models access online content. All right, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this week's show, the best way that you can support us is with a rating, a review, or by sharing this podcast with a friend, family member, or colleague who's interested in agentic AI. I'd also like to invite you to take our listener survey. For the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be collecting your responses about the show, and one lucky respondent will win 500 Olas tokens, subject to some terms and conditions. Links to take the survey and links to all of the resources and articles that I mentioned in today's show can be found in the description box on YouTube or the show notes wherever you get the show. One last thing, Agents Unleashed isn't just a podcast, it's also an event series, and the next event will be held October 1st at the Art Science Museum in Singapore. It is free to attend, but you do need an RSVP. I'd recommend that you grab one as soon as possible because the previous event at the Art Science Museum was standing room only. Okay, thanks for listening. This has been the Agents Unleashed podcast, and I'll see you next time.